Good evening and welcome to another week of Paranormal Pals podcast. And I'd like to welcome Ian Quigley, our guest speaker for this evening from Paranormal Researchers.
Great
He's
to
going
be
to
here
be.
tonight.
Oh, it's good to have you because this is a hotly debated topic. So he's going to be talking about videoing the paranormal and all the ins and outs of it. But before we get into it, we're going to swing across to our reporter, Barbara Casely, with the paranormal news.
Hi guys, good evening. Big news, actually really big news this week. Seaview Hospital was the scene of a large fire on Sunday. Seaview Hospital, if you don't know, is the old hospital and asylum near Hokitika. Multiple 111 calls alerted emergency services to the blaze on Seaview Terraces on the South Island's west coast just after 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. The fire apparently was huge and apparently could be seen from all over Hokitika. At the peak of the blaze, there were 7 trucks, 2 water tankers, 1 civilian water tanker, and several support units. So it was pretty big. Now, for those of you who don't know, the old Seaview Hospital was really a bit of a mecca to paranormal investigators. It actually dated back to the 1870s, and at the peak of it being open, it had more than 500 patients. It closed its doors in 2009, and some of the buildings later became accommodation, which was at one stage described as the spookiest backpackers in New Zealand. I just wished I could have gone. Visitor reviews were really interesting, with it being described as a very strange place, and it was full of character. I bet it was. Of course, it has been over the years the venue of many a paranormal investigation, and it was on the wish list for many yet to investigate. Investigators, myself included. So it's very, very sad that building has now gone. The suspicious fire is very suspicious because it was to be demolished anyway. Rumour has it that, I will say rumour because I don't want to get into trouble with anyone, but rumour has it that it was full of asbestos and was going to be a bit of a problem financially to actually demolish. So perhaps the fire was a good thing for the owners. A really sad day for paranormal investigators in New Zealand, though. And
we're not going to have any hotspots left shortly, I'll tell you.
No,
actually, it's gutting because Quantum were booked in there for 2 nights back in 22, I think it was, end of 22, beginning of 23, and we cancelled the trip. So I'm absolutely ruining the fact that I pulled the plug on it now, but never mind. Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
That just goes to show, people, paranormal investigations, grab them while you can. None of this, we'll do it next year or we'll do it next time, because you never know. There might not be a next time.
So, and there normally isn't in this country, actually.
Right.
So without further ado, we will get on and talk to Ian. So Ian, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
I started about maybe 2001. I started being interested in paranormal. It was when I was at the old Hellfire Club in Ireland, just on a trip to Ireland, and I walked up to Hellfire Club. I walked in with a camera in my hand, and we had a voice that was saying, hello, like a hello voice. And ever since that, I was always interested, but I never really looked more into it until maybe a couple of years later. I was working at a place in England, and it was well known, Teddington Studios or Pinehurst Studios, maybe. It was had a story of a ghost for years and years, and I actually worked there without knowing anything about it. And I experienced a lot of chatting when I was alone in the building, and people walking past me, just the feeling of people walking past me and chatting as they were walking past. And soon after that, the place was Exorcist. The Exorcist came in and performed an exorcism, and the story is on TV5 News in England. So it was a very big case, but luckily I got to work a night there. That was around 2001, sometime 2002. Lucky
Wow.
I was there, but I didn't know at the time that it was haunted.
Wow. I've been to quite a few places like that myself and not realized that when I've actually been there, it's supposedly haunted. So tell us a bit about your background with regards to video. I know you're you're into video production, correct?
Yeah, I've been into video production since around 1985. In the very early days of camcorders, I got a job. I was only like 14 years old. Got myself a job and bought a camcorder. And I started making videos for friends, and then eventually I left school and studied a little bit, and then got my first job in video production in a big studio in Dublin. I moved from that studio to another one, and then to a smaller place, and eventually I moved on to Australia, and then back to England, a few more places. So I've worldwide experience. I've been working like since 1998, or sorry, 1988. And when you're into paranormal and video production, you can see anytime you see a clip online that looks a bit dodgy, you can tell what they've done to it, and you can debunk it straight away. So I think with audio as well, like I've a lot of audio experience. You can hear things better. You can you know how to filter them. You know how to analyze them a lot different in different ways than other people do.
Yeah, there's so much online with regards to video. And this was one of the points of having you on, was to try and educate people about what they're actually looking at online. You know, without even bringing AI into it, what you see is not what you get when you're looking at ghostly clips online. You're talking about masking techniques. And unless you know what you're doing, I watched one this afternoon actually, which was quite interesting, and how it all, there was multiple things that had occurred, and there was one focal point, which was a ventriloquist dummy, but the cabinet of the door of the cabinet opens excuse me, that the dummy's in. And so this guy does it frame by frame, and he goes backward and forward and backward and forward, and he goes frame, and it jumps from one frame to another frame, but there's a huge part missing in the middle. And the door of the cabinet bends slightly at that same point.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that that can tell you whether or not something has actually been tampered with, of course. But most people don't sit there and go backward and forward frame by frame to see whether it does,
Yeah. Well, that's a tip I've actually prepared for tonight. Sorry, Barbara?
I was going to say, unless you're a paranormal investigator.
Unless you're a paranormal investigator.
And also, Barbara, there's lots of times
frame by frame having a look.
Yeah, no. When we're at, Barbara, on investigations, sometimes I mention something to you that you could do something and you have no idea, because I've lived video my whole life. I know it inside out. That's all I ever think about. Absolutely. And like when I say you just like mask off one side and you do something on the other side and it looks real. It takes time to explain or to show people how to do that. So the first clip I've made tonight is like a pencil flying off a table, and it's a very easy technique when you've seen it. So I'll just play that now and I'll explain as I go. First, we take our pencil clip. What we have here is the pencil on the table starts to move, and then it flies off. What we have to do first is take a freeze frame of the very end of the clip, the empty table without the pencil. So that's a freeze frame, and we add that into a new composition. Then we add our clip of the pencil moving on top of that, so you can see that moving. We have to mask off this part of the picture because we don't want to see my hand pushing the pencil. And now we can see pencil without my hand in. But the only problem with this is when my hand moves, the mask will have to move. So we have to follow this pencil with the mask. Now we have the mask moving in time with the pencil. The very last part here is going to be a manual job because it's very erratic and there's no way we could track that. So I'm going to go in and do it frame by frame. Doesn't take too long. And there we go, a moving pencil.
And did you recreate this? Did you create this yourself?
I've built this from scratch, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Really interesting.
So I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning building these, shooting them and building them and explaining them.
Thank you, Ian.
But yeah, that's a very typical technique. It's like masking off one side, and on the other side of the video screen, something else will happen. You can speed things up or make things disappear or whatever like that.
Yeah.
So that's one way of debugging stuff. The thing with the one I've shown you is that it's a locked off camera. If you have a non-locked off camera, it's different because it's very hard to track things in or to make things move and to mask them properly. So anytime you see these clips, they're usually locked off. It's not like a moving camera. For me, if I wanted, sorry,
I was just going to say, and to me, it's ridiculous the number of I'll call them videographers because I know Ian's a video producer. The number of videographers who are out there making these trash videos, trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. And it just makes me so angry because it's rubbish, and unfortunately the general public believe that that's what happens and that's how pencils move. And
not only that, then you get the likes of Slapped Ham and Nuke's Top 5 and Nuke's Top 10 that come in and show them and promote them as being paranormal, where no research has been done at all, no debunking's been done at all. So that just solidifies the plethora of shit that
the other thing you can do to these. That's right. Another thing you can do with these clips is you can actually add a shake onto them, like a camera shake, as if you were holding it not locked off. And that's a technique that I kind of developed myself, but I'm not going to show it because it's going to change a whole lot of things, like with the
let's not change the game. The game's already shitty enough as it is.
There is ones that will do it. There's plugins that will do it now, but I'm not going to show them mine. Mine is a bit more involved. So it will actually make it look like somebody's holding the camera rather than it just being locked off. So that's a way to disguise a really badly built masking shot. Yeah, there's another technique where, the way you have somebody half transparent so you can see somebody that looks like they're walking around the place like a ghost.
Yeah.
So I've made one of those where it's a very old technique used in film quite a bit. So you have a clean plate, which means a shot of if it's a staircase, somebody walking down, you have a shot of a staircase and you take the person out completely. So you just have an empty staircase and then you let the person walk down the staircase and you mix them together. So you have a staircase in the background and the person walking down in the foreground, but a half mix it looks like they're half transparent.
No need for apps any longer, and no need for ghost apps anymore, eh?
That's right, yeah. So I've actually made a clip to show this. This one is a very simple effect. I've recorded one of my friends walking down the staircase, like that. And one of the old tricks in video production is to get a freeze frame of the shot when he's not in frame and use that as a background. So when you do that, you can make it black and white.
This is the freeze frame background. And then you can add the original shot over it. When you do that, it will come out as him walking down the stairs as normal. But if you half mix them, he'll look transparent. So it's mixing the original shot with a freeze frame of the background with him not being in. So he looks like he's a ghost. And then you can go on further to do more stuff to him. Completely cut him out. Like that. That's him cut out. So when you blend that with the original shot, it will only show this area here. I'm going to add some more blur, more delay. So I have one with delay. So this is the background. I'm going to add this one to it. And this element will be full of black. I'll also blur them. And then can start off again with just the staircase as a freeze frame. Then I add blurry black version of him walking on the stairs. And then I can add a second layer to him. So that gives kind of a delay on the vision. So it looks a lot more ghostly. And then to all that, I can put some modern effect. This is a little bit different than usual, but if you go into any visual effects programs, you get some kind of preset old film or damage, and that will just blur it a little bit. It'll put some spots and ink spots on it, some scratches, and it will disguise all the work you've done, so it looks a bit more believable. And this is the final effect. That's him walking down the stairs.
Awesome.
It's my friend walking down the stairs in the Kinderhouse.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ian, can I just ask you, videos like that, through the ages, probably, you know, for the last, since photography was born, invented, there are so many ghost photos, which basically look similar to that, you know, a shadowy figure on a staircase. Do you reckon they're all they're all fakes, or would it be possible for some of those to?
I'm not. That's before my time a little bit, but I know the way to do it back then was double exposures.
Yeah.
So you have processed one image over the other, and that's the way they used to do it back then, like in film production as well. So I don't know, you know, I haven't looked at too many of those things, but I'd say it's quite easy to do as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There are so many very famous ghost photos, which do look very much like double exposures. And I mean, people say, "Oh no, we've had it," you know, we've had experts have a look, but I don't know. I'm a little bit suspicious of those.
But back then as well, like who would know what technology was coming and how many people get into it? Like they wouldn't think anybody would question them in like 50 years time.
No, exactly.
So I just put something out and hopefully it will pass. They wouldn't have known what kind of people would be trying to debunk them in 50 years time. They wouldn't expect to have something credible, or they wouldn't be worried about the fine tuning of that stuff.
I mean, let's face it, when we're talking about the Cottingill fairies and we're talking about cardboard cutout fairies put in a garden with the girls leaning down talking to them, and that being made out to be real because, of course, no one thought technology was going to get anywhere near what it is today.
Yeah.
And now it's been thoroughly debunked.
Yeah. But even photos, you know, and so often it's the quintessential woman on the stairs, you know, the grey lady and that sort of thing. I can't help but think that they could very easily be faked.
Yeah. The brown lady, I would say. That's a whole lot of
the brown lady of what was the name of the hall? I can't remember now. Yeah.
There's so many grey ladies, brown ladies. They
very, very famous photograph. That's probably the most famous photograph out.
Yeah.
Well, like you saw on the staircase one, that's very similar to it. It's a similar technique, but still with video.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did but I was going to say, like, it's the same with audio as well. Like when you're recording audio, that can be fake too. It's just like the technique of mixing two audio tracks over each other and balancing them so they sound ghostly, or putting reverb on, or changing the pitch. That can all make up fake EVPs too.
And
I
these,
think
these people that put up videos quite often insert that audio after the video's been taken anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I mean, the thing is that so many people do deliberately fake, audio and video, but there's also the cases where it's just, it hasn't been deliberately faked, but perhaps they know what that noise was, or what that particular shadow was, and they just omit to say anything. So while sometimes it's not a deliberate fake, it's perception.
Hey, there's a lot of money in that.
Yeah. When it comes down to audio, like there's science behind it as well. When I was studying, I actually studied audio too, and the frequencies and how they bounce, and the frequencies that bounce certain amounts. And in Napier Prison, we had maps of the whole place. We have the plan of the whole building. So when we heard a sound from any particular place, we could see which walls were in the way, or where it would be likely to be coming from. And that's the way we debunked a few sounds from there. And this next clip will just show you how you can fake something, and you can also filter out sounds and hear what's behind it, and how you should actually fake it.
Cool.
I have an audio EVP, and there's a little sound that I'm not too sure what is being said or what the noise is. So I'm going to play it down here. Just around here, there's something. I want to clear that out so I can hear more clearly what's being said. So what I do is copy the clip. Put it here. And then I just take the bit of the clip where I can hear the sound. Somewhere around there. And I trim off the top that I don't need. And I trim off the end I don't need. So now I just have the words, whatever's being said there. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to copy it and paste it. So I can listen to it over and over again without having to stop and start it. So what I'm going to do is play it down, go into my audio app, and get the graphic equalizer. Now I can see what the sound is doing. That's all the hiss. That's a rumble down there. And the voice will be around 1.3 kilohertz usually for a female voice. What I find with EVPs is sometimes the frequency can be a little bit different than a usual human voice. But in this case, I'll just go for the female voice, which is usually around 1.2 to 1.5 kilohertz. That's around here. And I raise it up. I can hear the voice a bit more clear. And I just narrow it so it's a smaller range that I'm listening to. And now I can take down some of the lower frequencies, which was down here. Around that. Pull them all down. So now I can hear the voice even more clear. This is more, take down the hiss and the higher frequencies. And now I can really hear this voice. I can also move the frequency around. It's not there. It's around there, 1.4 kilohertz. And now I just go back to the original clip. Right down. And that's what EQ does. So you can filter out all the frequencies that you don't need, and then we can hear the clip without all the noise. So since about a year and a half ago, most of the audio programs, and sometimes you can get apps online that will do it, but isolating the voice in a clip. Down here on my effects, turn it on, and bring up the controls for it. So at the moment, it's down to 0. So none of the voice isolation is on. If we turn it on a little bit, reduce the noise. If we turn up even more, it's become more clear. And if we turn up all the way, it sounds like something me. Possibly help me. And this is a really easy way of getting a clear audio clip without the restrictions of graphic equalizer. But now I'm going to show you what the clip really is. So here's the original sound. So what I've done is I've got a clip from a record from an investigation, just noise. It sounds like there's some voices there of us in the background. And then I've added my own clip, which is...
Help me.
And that clip is actually...
Help me.
In reverse, it's... And the original is...
Help me.
That's me saying, help me. I just mixed in with the original voice. I've put some reverb on as well to make it sound more creepy. But that's how you could fake an audio clip if you want to do so. And also that's how you filter and isolate a clip so you can hear more clearly what people are saying. And hopefully we don't do stuff with that. The stuff that you just seen in that clip, that's for the amateurs and for TV shows.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Which you've probably on TV shows all the time, like faking audio clips. Who knows which ones are real? But when you're so much into it, you don't really care. Yeah, you don't really care what's real and what isn't because you don't have. There's no way you can prove these things to anybody.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when it comes down to it, anything can be faked.
Yep.
So you just have to do it for yourself or nobody at all.
I think it's getting harder and harder now. It doesn't matter what you're going to capture on video or what you're going to capture on audio, sharing it with the world, you're going to get people yelling, oh, that's fake.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Without having
AI now, with AI, it's ridiculous.
Excuse me. Without having anything to back up their opinion, they're going to yell, oh, that's fake. Just because there's so much stuff out there being faked. You know, there's that old saying about investigators, oh, the best tools we've got are our eyes and our ears. Actually, as investigators, that's the worst tools that you've got are your eyes and your ears, because they fail you multiple and on numerous occasions.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever seen a video clip that I actually think would be genuine. There's no clip that I can say now that I would believe 100% that it's real or a photograph. I just can't say for real, for sure. It's only stuff that I captured myself or can debunk or not debunk.
And the thing is, it's hard to know because unless you've got the person in front of you that's taken that video and you can question them and ask them certain things to eliminate that, and unless you've been to that place yourself and viewed the area where they captured the video, it's really hard to get your questions answered and your debunks firmly and categorically debunked.
Add into that list, Tracy, is trust. I mean, you speak to the person who took the video or the audio, and they can give their answers, but a lot of it, so much of it just comes down to you. Do you trust what they're saying?
No, I don't. I don't trust anybody. So no, absolutely
Put
not.
on your aluminium foil hat.
To me, I mean, trust is a huge part of it. Yes, you can question them. You can have a look at what's been taken.
But then you've got to take it face value.
Exactly. It's up to you whether you believe what they are saying is correct or maybe they're mistaken or maybe they're completely misleading you.
Yeah. But it's also very important for other team members to be able to accept that they're wrong sometimes.
Yes.
To be proved wrong and then just accept it. And like I've had instances where I've seen photographs of at one event in particular, where somebody was taking photographs of the place I were at. It was an asylum, and there was a whole lot of faces in the window. So I reckon he had gone there the day before, taken the photographs, put the faces in, and then come back and shown me the
No
ones live.
way.
Yeah, it happened twice at the asylum. One woman and one guy. So you just can't believe anything. Even like that could happen on an investigation. Somebody could fake and have an audio clip on the
Absolutely
recorder
agree with you.
and
Yeah,
submit
it's
it.
not
Yeah.
not even deliberately faking.
So it really comes down to trusting your team members. And if there's no trust there, you're not going to get anywhere.
That's right. And it also comes down to believing. I mean, to be quite honest with you, as I said, I don't, and it's no one's failing but mine, but I don't trust what anyone says to me at face value whatsoever, particularly when it comes to the paranormal. So someone tells me they never said that, I'm going to be going to those cameras and I'm going to be seeing if their lips are moving.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because
I
especially
have had a case.
Memory is a very strange.
Totally fallible.
Yeah.
I've had someone swore black and blue to me that they never uttered a word. And then when the cameras were checked, they were the ones that actually said that came through on the audio. And yet they said, I'm sorry, I don't remember saying that. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But you do have to take that. You have to go past that. I trust the fact that they said they didn't speak, so therefore they didn't. You need to go and make sure that they didn't speak.
Yeah.
And
even if
when have you ever used a DVR for anything but debunking stuff?
Yes.
Like I've never seen anything unusual on DVR recording. It's usually just to track down where people are, and so you can debunk people or debunk audio clips.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I think it's a huge failing of paranormal teams not to know where every single team member is at every single second on an investigation. That shit needs to be documented without a fact.
I mean, it's very hard because paranormal investigators usually don't have a history of video production and audio and technology. So it's very hard for them to know how to do stuff, how to sync all their audio recorders and have everything synchronized and all the readings in sync with everything else. It's a complicated business, really.
Yeah.
So it's you can't have everything, I guess, in a team. You can do your best, but it's always going to be a little bit of guesswork.
Yes, unless you're very lucky and you've got a video producer on the team, a psychologist on the team, a building inspector on the team, you know, a construction worker or whatever on the team, a plumber on the team, all these things can be checked out, you know.
And someone to keep track of every single one of those people.
That's right. A babysitter on the team.
Contamination and for things to go wrong.
Sorry, I didn't catch a lot of that because you guys were talking across the top of each other. Sorry, what was that?
I forgot what I was saying. I was just saying that you were saying, you know, video producers and someone in charge of this and someone in charge of that. And I said, and the other thing is if there's that many people there, you're going to have someone that have to be in charge of where all these people are at any given time to make sure that they're not contaminating the actual investigation. I agree with you, Tracy. We do have to, you know, as paranormal investigators, we have to up our game because, you know, when you've got a number of investigators together, it's got to be controlled.
Yeah. And what I was going to say next is about orbs and lens flares. Orbs, I never believe. I if somebody sends me an orb or a bit of dust on a camera lens or some dust going past a lens, my advice to them would be usually just to drag it into empty it, have a cup of tea and go to bed early. That's
This is why
I agree.
Ian's team. I
And this is the next
Scott.
clip that I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this clip and just show you. And no offense to anybody, because I know like there are people that believe in orbs and dust and bugs and stuff like that. But here's a clip to show what I found on my exploration of them. Okay, I'm just going to talk about some of the very common dust, bugs, orbs, and that kind of stuff that people report on a regular basis. And it's not that I don't believe that they're seeing things, but this is my go-to to debunk some of those claims. Here's a carport at nighttime, and it's lit up, and all the lights are shining straight into the background. And we have something gone past the screen. Just slow down a little bit. It appears as a little blur across the screen. Now if we slow that down a little bit, that's it there. It just looks like a bug gone past the light. And next one, there we go. It was on the corner of the screen. I'll slow it down. Again, it's just a little bug. There's the third one, across the windscreen, and looks the same. Probably the same bug flying around in circles. Next, I'm going to show you what typical lenses will show you when you point them into a light. And this will create kind of a lens flare effect, which sometimes can look like orbs. So this is a professional cine lens and 50mm. And this is an extreme case just to show you what we get from it. So we get this kind of orb type circle here. And it moves at the same rate as I'm moving the tripod. Here's a 25mm cine lens. A lot more artifacts. There's a little orb. There's some orbs. There's another little artifact. This looks a little bit different, but just as good. So you get all those orbs there. And a 10mm lens. There's quite a few there. There's a big one. Now go to the typical iPhone cameras. These are from iPhones from version 10 up to whatever it is now, 16 or 17. And typical with the 3 lenses built in. First is a wide lens. That's what you get, a little orb going across there. This is the medium lens. And the close-up lens. In certain circumstances, these can look like orbs or something glowing or flying across the screen, but most of the time they're just created by light. Just note when you're walking with a camera across a light, the orb or the lens flare will move at the same rate as your body. So if you're walking, it will move the same way as a human will move. So this is what gives it the human-like movement, because you're actually moving. That's an exaggerated walk, just to show what it does.
Yeah.
I didn't use any bad language, did I?
No, not
There's
at all.
There's still time.
And you'd be justified in doing so, so we'll let that one go.
I would be, yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Like when people bring you an orb and they think it's their grandmother floating around their house, you have to be really kind to them. You have to try and do your best to tell them that maybe it's a sign, even though you don't believe yourself. It's really important for them to be reassured what they believe. I think that's really important.
I usually say to them, yes, that, grandma very possibly is around them.
Yeah.
But what they are seeing there is a piece of dust.
That's right.
It's like, don't sugarcoat that. It's like, that's
And
what
maybe
it
it's
is.
the piece of your grandmother's dust.
It's grandma telling you too, freaking dust.
and get some fly spray.
Yeah, get some fly spray.
The other one I was going to explain was when you get into a dark corridor and you see smoke or you see steam, And we've seen it a few times, like especially lately in some of the places. In the cold weather, you see a lot more than usual. But there is a very easy way to make smoke look real. In if you have a blank shot of a hallway and you can put smoke into it, and I've seen that done a few times online. So this is the clip to show that you can put smoke over any background you want, make it look spooky. Here's a clip from Napier Prison, one of the corridors. I had the light on, and then I slowly turned down the aperture so it looked like a dark, spooky, empty corridor. Just like that. And what I'm going to do to it is add in some fake smoke. So I have some smoke here. I'm going to put that on top of this to make it look like it's actually in the shot. Put over and change the way the app sees it. So the smoke comes in as it gets darker. We can turn down the opacity of the smoke as well. So I can have it just barely coming in like that.
Oh,
that makes sense.
doesn't
The
it?
crowd is one thing that it's nobody has ever done. Like nobody's ever even thought about. Like putting smoke over stuff like that. It's really easy to do these days. It wasn't years ago, but from probably about 10 years on, 10 years ago on, it's made it much easier to do stuff like this, to superimpose things
Yeah.
and put them over it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you don't have to be like a video expert to do it these days. You can, like, everybody knows a little bit of video. With Premiere and Adobe products out there, you can learn fairly easy.
Yeah.
But there's so many ways to fake things, and we could go through all night and explore loads of clips, and we'd be able to probably debunk them all. Maybe not audio. I mean, audio there's a lot more involved because you don't have the visual reference, but
Yes,
especially video
yeah.
clips.
And you know what? Any audio can be contaminated from outside influences unless you're actually in a soundproofed room and you're conducting an EVP session.
Yeah.
You can't say that what you've got is even from an interior. I mean, we used to leave recorders outside of the property that we were investigating, so that if we captured something, we would review the outside recorder to see whether or not that noise actually came from inside the building or outside of the building.
Yeah.
Because it would be easier to tell on the outside recorder. Naturally, it would be louder, or it would sound closer to the recorder if it came from outside. So there's little tricks like that, but you still, unless you are in a soundproofed room, it is very difficult to say what you have captured on an audio recorder is actually a disembodied voice, a voice that shouldn't be there, literally.
Yeah.
I have been, sorry, I have.
Gone through and doing your, sorry.
It's really difficult with the lag. It's really difficult.
That's
an investigation.
Shut up, Barbara.
Sorry. Oh, she's got the giggles on now.
Go, Ian. Go, Ian.
I've a delay. That's why I'm not hearing you before I speak. I was just going to say, you could, before any investigation, and as well as measuring the EMF and everything else in the building and temperature, you could also take a sample recording of a voice outside and inside the building.
Yeah.
Would be another, which we've never done, but there's too much road noise out there usually, and there's so many things you could do to, back up all your evidence.
Oh yeah,
we usually don't have time to do it.
Yeah, I'm still reviewing it. It's a paper, I think it's from Brazil, about these scientists conducting EVP sessions from inside a soundproofed room, and there's some really, really interesting results. But they're saying because it's in a soundproof room, of course, there is no outside contamination. And if there's only one person sitting in that room with a camera on them, and they're the one that is asking the questions, and yet there's these other voices popping up on the EVP recorder, where the hell is that coming from? Which has been very, very interesting reading their findings on that experiment that's been running, I think, for 2 years now. So yeah, I must share that with you at one stage when I get around to it, Ian, when I finally got through it all. But it's the same with
what do you think the voices are?
Well, there's no findings on what the voices are or who the voices are in respect of that. Okay, so they're not there to prove. They're not there to prove that these recordings are the voices of dead people or are not the voices of dead people. They basically have run this 2-year experiment to see whether or not they're going to get anything in a soundproof room.
And they are.
And the great thing is that they've got sound engineers as well that are doing all the analysis, which is great. So it's all really, really as professional as you could possibly get it. Scientists doing it, sound recorders analyzing it, soundproof rooms. But they have gotten some answers, direct answers to questions that lend towards it actually being a deceased person that's come through on the recording.
What would a deceased person be doing in a soundproof room?
That's it. But are they in the soundproof room or are they in the ether? We don't even know where these voices come from in the first place, and that's the point. It doesn't need to be a spirit standing right next to you, or does it just need to be a spirit in the ether talking? You know, like God's, what do they call them? God's trumpets that come from the ether that loads of people hear. The thing is that you could go on forever about who or what these voices are from, and nobody bloody knows, but they are turning up. They were being asked questions that were only specific to the person that was asking them. And they were very private family questions, and they were the only one that knew the answers to them. And the voices came through and said exactly correctly. So it's kind of really weird, to be quite honest with you.
See, that's something that I have been wondering about. Like, I mean, a dream scenario as a paranormal investigator would be to be able to repeat the same sorts of experiments, preferably in a haunted kind of area, but to repeat them over and over again.
Over and over again and get the same results.
Get the same results. And that's clearly what has happened under those controlled conditions for that. But that's what, to me, I mean, it would be so awesome to have just repeated access with the same investigators and repeat the same experiments, to repeat the same investigation time after time, and try and get some sort of conclusive results from it, and the same results time and time again. I mean, that would be the ideal as a paranormal
that's the dream, isn't it? You know, that's the dream. But I mean, half of the locations we go to are contaminated by outside noise right from the get-go.
Absolutely. But then the more times you go, I mean, the more you can eliminate some of these problems, you know, and that's why it's really important to have somewhere where we can go back to time and time again. So each time we return, we can actually eliminate some of these things that have occurred, some of the problems that have occurred the time before, until in the end, we're able to, you know, really know what's what at any venue or location. We can dream.
But most of these places, when we get to them, like we get nighttime traffic. When we go there at a certain time, we get nighttime traffic. And then we get quietness for a little while, from about midnight till about 3 o'clock in the morning. At that stage, we've driven all day and we're all exhausted and we want to go to sleep. And there's only very little we can do at that stage. Like, we're not going to start making control points everywhere and testing everything. It's just no time for it.
But we could, like, if we were really serious, we could do that. We could start the investigation at 12 o'clock. It would mean we had to, you know,
I have a bit of a different idea. And that is well, if you've got enough people to do it, is have team slots. So these people can investigate between 9 p.m. and 12 p.m. And then you lot need to go down and have a sleep. And at 12 p.m. you get up and you investigate from 12 p.m. till 3 a.m. And then you lot who've been sleeping till 3 a.m. get up and you investigate from 3 a.m. till 7 a.m.
That's a great idea.
And shift it that way.
Compare results.
Yep.
Compare recordings, results, and claims as well.
Yep.
You write
So
them
you
down
like
first, and
to-
then you share them at the very last minute.
And have some controls in it, like make sure that
Yeah.
there is one recorder. There has to be one recorder there, and there, like certain locations, there has to be a camera there. I mean, investigators could also have other stuff around, but we would need to have some sort of constant,
Yep.
so that we've
So you
got
set the equipment up, and that equipment stays in that location for the rest of the night, and all that changes is the investigators, so they're fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
I mean, if you had a recorder each and you put it in your own place per night, and then you took care of that area, listen back to the recording. So you have everywhere covered, and then you sync them all up and see if the sound is actually what you think you're hearing.
So is there anything else that you had? Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes, we were off topic. Anything else, Ian?
I want to show this split screen technique. And
Okay.
it's basically something you could fake, but it's not a good example of it. It's just a fake. It's actually Barbara taking a reading, and I've taken her hand out, so you see the light flashing, but you don't see her hand going in. It's a very common technique that could be done to fake something. I just played out it now. Okay, this is another very popular technique. So we have a clip like this. This is Barbara checking EMF on a fuse box in a location. So if we take a freeze frame of this without Barbara's hand in, we can use that to mask off the bottom part of the screen. So we don't see Barbara's hand coming in. Of course you wouldn't get the light on the fuse box, but this is just showing what you could do if you had stuff that you wanted to highlight and remove any movement going into it. So that's the last one I have.
Yep, that's me.
That's a good
I
one
mean, you
to
could use
know.
it for so many things.
Wow.
Like you could actually fake a reading. Like if you got a flashing light, you could actually fake when it happened, or you could slide the time. If there's somebody on the other side, you could have them talking and then it goes off at the same time. So there's so many ways you could fake something like that.
And we also need to briefly mention quickly before we end, and that's home CCTV cameras and the footage that they capture. I know there's a lot of things on Nuke's Top 5 and Slapped Ham and all the rest of these Sir Spooky or whatever the hell his name is that do these YouTube videos. Most of, in fact, 100% of what they capture on these programs is rubbish. And 100% of these CCTV cameras are actually really real. CCTV cameras, really bad video to even be looking at as capturing anything remotely paranormal.
Sorry, folks, I heard the noise.
Really bad. So don't even think that you've captured something on your home CCTV.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll end it on that note. And thank you very much for joining us, Ian. Much appreciated.
Great to be here today. Yeah,
Lots
very
of
nice to be here.
stuff packed in there. And we'll see you next time. Everybody, we'll see you next week.
Hey, have a great weekend, folks. And be safe, stay warm.